Hey, welcome back to A Moment to Move. This is going to be a very plank orientated class, so I hope your shoulders are ready. And yeah, let's jump into it and have some fun. So wrists as per usual. I'm going to stay facing you to make it a little bit easier. See what I'm doing? I'm going to have my hands facing to the outer edges of the mat, gripping into the fingers into the mat as best I can, and eyes of the elbows facing forward, and I'm just going to rock from side to side. You can make a little circle if you choose to. Try and keep the pressure on the outside edges of your hand, on the outside, like a index finger and thumb sort of area as you're pushing into the ground. Gently coming backwards and forth. Going to come up onto my toes, a bit of a toe stand, and I'm going to have the palm of my hand facing towards me, and I'm going to gently pull with my left hand on the back of my right hand towards me, and then grabbing the fingers and extending the arm away from you, and pull the hand back so the fingers are facing towards my face, and simply switched onto the other side, externally rotating the shoulders already, so I'm slightly warming them up, and then bring them back. Shake them out nice and slowly. Think about what you're doing and how you're doing it. Place the hands down, send the hips up to the sky, pushing into the hands, coming into a downward facing dog. Begin to pedal out the feet, externally rotate the shoulder blades so the eyes and the elbows are trying to face forward. It's not always going to work. Get a nice grip into the mat, and we're going to slowly roll the spine forward until your shoulders are stacked over your hands. Get into that plank. Feel comfortable and confident in your plank. Push the ground away from you, doming the upper back, but let the shoulders relax at the same time. Firm the glutes. I'm just going to do some scapular push-ups. So you want to keep that engagement, keep pushing the ground away from you, engaging the core. I'm just going to drop the shoulders through, the chest through, bring the shoulder blades onto the back and coming back. 2, 3, try to keep straight arms. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold back in your plank, keep pushing the ground away from you. I promise you at the end of class, we will release the shoulders a little bit. And from here, we're going to shift the weight forward over the hands. Bring the elbows into the chest and slowly lower down into your low plank. Hold. Squeeze the glutes. Push back up into your high plank. Stabilize yourself. And we're going to bring the right knee to the right tricep and step back. Nice and controlled. These are called mountain climbers. I'm already shaking, so hopefully you are too. Keep doming the upper back. 3, 4, 5, 5. Keep pushing the ground away from you. Engage the core. Send the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. In downward facing dog. Walk the hands back nice and slowly into a forward fold. Scoot the heel toe the feet out. So you want the feet facing outwards, heels in. And we're going to sink into a deep squat. Come as low as you can. If you need to tuck the mat, so your heels are a little bit elevated, you can. But we are actually going to come onto the tips of the toes as we stand up. So from your low squat, we're going to push into the ground, coming up onto tiptoes and lowering back down into deep squat. Push back up. You can have your arms up overhead, out to the side. 2, 3, gentle engagement with the glutes as you come up. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, nice and controlled, 9. We're challenging the balance and working the thighs at the same time. Come up for 10, squeeze the glutes. Whoa, keep your balance and lower back down into that deep squat. Push your chest onto your thighs and take that forward fold. You can walk out the feet if you choose. From here we're going to walk the hands forward, coming back into that downward facing dog. And from here we're going to roll through the spine again, coming into that plank. Externally rotate shoulder blades and set up your plank. We're going to rotate onto the outside edge of your right foot. Keep the shoulder over the hand of your right hand. Stick the hips, squeeze the glutes and your arm up to the sky. And we're going to just lower the hips down. Keep pushing into the shoulders, so don't let your shoulder blade collapse. 1, 2, 3, come as low as you can. 4, 5. Place your hand down, and we're just going to flip all the way over to the other side. Stick your hips up to the sky. Set up your side plank. Externally rotate the shoulder blade. Keep the pressure in the index finger and the thumb, and lower down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Side plank. Place your right hand down and welcome back to plank. Take a minute to set it up. Inhale and exhale. Roll back, downward facing dog. I'm just going to walk the feet in. I'm going to rotate so you can see me, but we're going to come into horse stance. So bring your feet just slightly outside of shoulder width or hip width apart. Again, so it's like in a deep squat, but not quite as narrow, I guess. It's probably the best way to put it. And you're going to have your toes facing outwards, and we're just going to sit down. And we're going to hold this nice horse stance. I guess they call it horse stance because this is how you stand when you get off a horse. And we're just going to hold. So whatever you choose to do with your hands is perfectly fine. You can rest them on your knees to straighten your back. Is a position that I'm going to take. You can have them outside. And open and close your fingers if you choose to. You can dip your shoulders in to give yourself a little bit of that shoulder release already. So you can bring your right shoulder in, pull your left shoulder back. So it's a nice twist as well at the same time. And switch to the other side. Or you can just stand here, breathe, and stare at you guys. Again, try not to let the knees collapse. You want to keep pushing them the best you can out. So they're tracking the same way as your feet, your toes even. And sink a little bit lower for the last 10. Keep lowering down, keep lowering down. Bring your chest nice and proud. 3, 2, 1. Straighten the legs. And then rotate the feet in, heels out. And take a nice wide-legged forward fold. That one's always a little bit of a thigh burner, holding that horse stance. Then we're going to right from side to side. And from here, simply going to pivot to the top of the mat, place your hands down, and step back to our good friend, Mr. Plank. From here, we're going to shift forward, slowly lower down over 10 seconds, hold for 10 seconds, and push up over 10 seconds. So let's see if I can count that out. So shift shoulder forward, shift your weight forward, slowly lower down into your low plank. Bring them elbows in to the side body. Hold. Maybe shift the weight a little bit further forward. Keep gripping the mat with your fingertips. And we begin to push up. Nice and slow. Engage the core. Bring the navel to the spine. Protract the shoulder blades. Bring the knees down into a hovering tabletop. So don't fully touch the ground. Bring your hands underneath the shoulder blades. And we're coming into, as I said, hovering tabletop. We can choose to do mountain climbers here as well. Keep pushing the ground away from you. Knees to wrists. 3, 4, 5. 1 more second. Lower the knees down. Begin to walk the knees back. I said I was going to open up the shoulders a little bit, so we'll try this puppy pose. So extend the arms away from you. Externally rotate the shoulder blades and sink your chest to the ground. Try to keep your hips over the knees. It's not always just the best and easiest way to judge, but that's what we're aiming to do. Tent the fingertips and bring the chest through. From here, gaze forward, bring your chest through, lower down onto your chest, onto your stomach, and I'm simply going to extend the right arm out to the side, scooch onto the left hip, right hip, sorry. Bring your left hand underneath, in front of your chest, and we're going to simply rotate on to that right shoulder. Keep the shoulder down to the ground. Now you can bring your left leg over if you want a bit more of a stretch. You can either come back to neutral, bend your arm at 45 degrees so the fingers are facing forward, but don't let the shoulder drop down. You want the elbow the same height as the shoulder, and again, rotate onto that right hip. Bring the left foot to the ground, place your ear on the ground. It's a bit deeper if you go onto the shoulder. If you bend your arm, it's a little bit deeper. And we're just stretching out the front of the shoulder and the deltoid muscles. Come back to neutral. And now I know that I need my arm at 45 degrees to feel a nice stretch, that you can again have the arm straight. I'm going to start at 45 degrees, and I'm going to scoot onto the left hip, bring the right foot over, place the foot to the ground, and gently lay my left ear down to the ground. Stretching out the deltoids on the left shoulder. And chest area. Come back to neutral. Simply push yourself up to a seat. Bring your feet forward. And just sit in a nice forward fold. Flex your toes. Take a nice inhale. Exhale. Grab the outside edges of your feet. Fold forward and down. Flex the toes towards your face. If you can't grab your feet, that's perfectly fine. Bend your knees until you can grab your feet. Then gently worm your bum back until you feel your full range of motion. And just gently relax down. Tuck the chin to the chest. To feel a bit more of a stretch across the back body. Roll up to seated. I'm going to come onto my knees once again, sitting back onto the heels. We're just going to do 3 rounds of box breath. So it's 4-second inhale, pause for 4 seconds, hold, release for 4 seconds, and then hold for 4 seconds, just to come back to center and come back to the parasympathetic nervous system. So I'm going to close my eyes as I do so, and just inhale for 4, Hold for 4. Release for 4. Hold for 4. Inhale for 4. Hold for 4. Release for 4. Hold for 4. Last round, inhale 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 4. Hold for 4. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've found the space and the time to go all the way through this practice, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.